Here we are together again on the radio. Several of you have sent me this article from the Wall Street Journal's magazine. It's called Smart Money. And they have a website, smartmoney.com. I am a Smart Money subscriber. It's one of the magazines I recommend to you boys who want to learn how to start investing. It's a good one to get started on. It's easy to understand. Doesn't make you feel like a dope, though. And for those of you who call me all the time and say, why do you insist on prenups? What's the big deal? Those of you who are in lust and you think it's love and you want to get married to your high school sweetheart and it's the most perfect, wonderful love that's ever been invented. You guys are the perfect couple and you will be the perfect couple till the end of time. And at your wedding, when you're 21 years old, they'll be freeing the doves and you'll be drinking champagne and riding around in the wedding limousine. And you're just going to be happy ever after because you two love each other so much. It's just the most amazing love. Love like nobody else has ever known in the entire history of love. It's just an amazing love, a love that will live forever. That's you, right? So why would you need a prenuptial agreement? You love birds. All right, boys, listen up. This from Smart Money magazine. It's called Women Are Seeing More Parity in Divorces. Parity, they call it. So you know there's some chick in there who's an editor. There it is. In the not-too-distant past, Joe Cooper-Ellis, that's trouble right there when they've got a hyphenated last name. Joe Cooper-Ellis's divorce from husband Peter might have netted her the house and some paltry monthly payments. But in the are you listening, boys? This is very important. In the 21st century, the math of divorce is drastically different. In court in Vermont, Joe not only won $10,000 a month in alimony and child support, but also, pay attention to this, please, Peter's entire retirement portfolio and $1.2 million worth of his unvested stock options at the software company where he's an executive. Granted, it says here, Peter won't need reservations for the poorhouse. He commands a salary in the mid-six figures. Still, he's going through post-divorce financial trauma. He says, they took my retirement, my pension, my 401k, and all the cash. I didn't even think that was a possibility. For as long as divorce has existed, men have griped about their divorce settlements. But in reality, they've typically come out far ahead financially. No longer. Boys, are you paying attention to this? Let me read that last line again for emphasis so you hear it. For as long as divorce has existed, men have griped about their divorce settlements. But in reality, it says here, they've typically come out far ahead financially. No longer. Today, women are closer than ever in achieving what they're calling parity, and then some. Thanks to shifting cultural attitudes and a judicial sea change, courts are putting a higher price tag on what the non-working or lower-earning spouse, usually the wife, contributes to the marriage. Judges are granting more alimony, putting more assets in play, and increasingly requiring husbands to pay their wives' legal fees. And for men who expected something more favorable, the experience is about as uncomfortable as a colonoscopy. As Washington, D.C. Attorney Sanford Ain observes, the husbands are more nervous and the women are more confident. From the woman's side of the negotiating table, the response, understandably, is, it's about time. Statistics have long shown that divorce is an economic catastrophe for women, especially mothers with dependent kids. which gives you an idea of how much money women spend. Because if women were doing great when they were married and suddenly it's an economic catastrophe, clearly it's because they're continuing to spend, but they don't have the income they had before when daddy was going out and making all the money. It says here, today there's greater recognition of the economic value of stay-at-home motherhood and of the sacrifices women make when they stop working. Women who do work outside the home still make only 74 cents for every dollar men earn. Jesus, stop quoting that inaccurate figure that is based on very bad mathematics, and we've talked about that many times. It says here only 12% of wives make substantially more than their husbands. Well, and those women are hideous. Just tell the truth. So it's no surprise that it's still the man writing the checks in most divorces. But guys, some guys being blindsided by how much bigger those checks have become. The shift in split-up economics has its roots in the 1980s, when academics began focusing on the divorce wealth gap, noting that after divorces, men's net worth typically rose while women's dropped. Yeah, my net worth has gone up every time I've gotten a divorce because I'm making less car payments, because I'm not paying for groceries, because I'm not paying the same amount for utilities, because I'm not spending the same amount going out to restaurants or going on vacations. I'm not spending the same amount on gifts to family members I don't know and will never meet. Of course my net worth is going up. And of course her net worth is going down because now she has to reach down into her purse and pay for all that stuff, whereas before all her money was mad money. Of course that makes sense that a man's net worth goes up and a woman's goes down after divorce. You bet it does. Which is why you should never get married in the first place, because women drag your net worth down. That is what they do. It says here, such research helped push states to adopt the equitable distribution statutes laws that make most marital property subject to division, even if it's held in the husband's name. As a younger generation of judges came to the bench, the judiciary began to embrace the idea that the existing system was unfair and to change the rules accordingly. In past years, for example, courts would look the other way as husbands starved out their wives by cutting off funds, leaving them unable to pay for counsel. Judges would award women as little as $75 for legal fees, barely enough for a consultation with the cheapest attorney in the phone book. These days, wives get much more ammunition, with court-awarded fees sometimes reaching 7 figures. That's 7 figures for your soon-to-be ex-wife to pay her attorney to screw you. More important, equitable distribution laws open the door for courts to consider a wide range of assets, stock options, future earnings, privately held businesses as shared marital, quote-unquote, property. Courts have also recognized that homemakers earning disadvantages often hurt them later in life because they contribute less to retirement plans and the Social Security system. Why don't they just put a little money away? Why don't they get a prenup and demand a certain salary for running the home? Because then we would see what whores many women are. And then we would see how marriage is just legalized prostitution for so many of you girls. Women don't want to put a dollar value on this. They want to say it's priceless. Until they get a divorce, then they put a dollar value on it. Says here that's why in many contemporary cases, the biggest assets under dispute are sitting in 401k plans and IRAs. In 2006, the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers reported that almost 80% of its members saw an increase in prenuptial agreements in the previous 5 years, a predictable response to ballooning divorce settlements. Prenups can often become power plays that let the richer man keep the upper hand. But the best and fairest agreements allow spouses with deep pockets to protect assets they cherish while still providing security for the one in the supporting role. It's increasingly common for prenups to stipulate that payouts increase with the length of the marriage, by which time the lesser earning partner has proven to be more than a gold digger. Right. In theory, good prenups also ensure that wrangling over money won't add to the emotional strain of a divorce. For similar reasons, mediation is an increasingly popular alternative to litigation. By the end of a divorce negotiation, says Manhattan attorney William Beslow, husband and wife are, quote, like fighters coming out for the 15th round, too weary to throw another punch, or they're happy to have some kind of contract in place to stop the fight. The message you boys need to be getting out of this article is this. Women are getting more and more in divorces, and they're getting things you never even thought somebody would fight for. They're getting your Social Security that you'll get paid after you're 65 or 67 years old. They're getting your 401k. They're getting your IRA. They're getting your pension. Not to mention that they're getting your stock options. They're getting half or more of your businesses. They're getting your real estate. They're getting everything you have. You at the very least need a prenup. But of course, I continue to say, and this story only strengthens my resolve, that you can't get married, boys. You cannot get married because this is what you're facing.
Tom Leykis.